In 1987, I left my sugar daddy and the house that he was renting to own for me behind in Calumet City because he was cheap and controlling and rude. And I wanted to go be closer to my brother who had moved to Key West. So I went to Miami Beach, Florida. I quickly got a job at the Seagull Hotel, the only gay resort on South Beach at the time, also known as the Dirty Bird. I was a barback, and the job came with a discounted weekly rate on one of their cheap, skanky rooms. But it wasn't long before my friend Carlos came from Chicago and was mooching off of me and sneaking into my room. He didn't work at the hotel, so when they caught him living with me, we both got kicked out. Lucky for my friend Carlos, he found a place where he could mooch off of some guy that he'd met in the bar. But I was a little more picky than that, so I ended up sleeping on the streets and on the boardwalk. But one day, while I was smoking a J with some random strangers on the boardwalk, a guy walked up to me and asked me on a date. He looked just like your average Joe, but he was offering me dinner, so of course I said, sure. When he picked me up, I wasn't dressed appropriately for the restaurant he wanted to take me to, so he took me shopping for a really nice outfit, and we went out fine dining and dancing for the rest of the evening. I was really surprised he was so high class. It was filet mignon and Don Perignon the whole way. And by the time the evening was done and we ended up back at his condo, he put a big gold and onyx ring on my finger and declared his undying love for me. I let him know immediately that if he was going to take me on, I was definitely going to be high maintenance. I needed a car, I needed an apartment, I needed a wardrobe, something that would help me to get a job that I could live on. And to my utter surprise, he agreed to all of those things. I spent the greater part of the next 2 years living a life of real luxury. I had a beautiful apartment with beautiful furniture and a beautiful Ford Taurus, but he did not want me to get a job. He wanted me to be available whenever he was in town and whenever he wanted to see me. Sadly, it took me a couple of years to figure out that I wasn't his only boy toy, and when I found out about that, it was over. But his generosity enabled me to visit my brother William in Key West often, and that was important to me. And then William moved to New York. And that's when I moved to New York as well because my boyfriend had a house there too. We were vacationing in South America when I found out he was cheating and I tried to unalive myself. Follow for more.